Alright, so welcome back. In today's video, I share all the stuff that I bought for $75 at the sale that my club had the other day. And just of note, this stuff in total was supposed to be more than $75, but since I am a member of the club, I got a discount, so the prices that I say for a lot of this stuff is going to be fairly off. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. So these first three things that I'm going through, I've already worked on a little bit, and they came out of the same box. So this is a really old Walthers diecast passenger car. I learned this after buying it. It was so weird, and I just wanted it. These trucks didn't come with it. The trucks that were on it were freight trucks, and I had these lying around. I know they're not perfect. I want to paint them black, but for now, they do work. I also put Katie's on it. It's quite the interesting car, and I just wanted it. It's also got a little bit of damage there. I'm going to probably repaint that corner eventually. And next up, out of the same box, this is a really old Varney reefer, which was, I forgot to mention, the passenger car was $5. This was also $5. And I looked into it, and this specific car was made in, I believe, 1939. So it's old. Again, I've just gone through and I've installed Katie's on it. Yeah, nothing much to note. It was a really cool car, and I just wanted it. And then the last of these really vintage things is another Varney car. This one is a Pacemaker boxcar. The original trucks weren't that great, so I stuck these ones on. This was also $5 out of the exact same bin. I've got to leave these couplers on, though. They do work with Katie's, although they're not the greatest. I just can't find a singular way to take them off, so they'll just be stuck like that. So now, that's the first few, not the nicest things in the world out of the way. And then next up is the final freight car that I bought, again for $5, which is this NS grain car. I've looked all over, and I can't actually tell who made it. I want to say it was either Walthers or Athearn, but it is a really nice car, and again, was only $5. It does have Accumate couplers on it, though, so eventually I sort of want to replace those with Katie's once I have the spare parts. But I think that was a pretty good deal. And then this last thing, before I cut to something that's sort of unrelated, was pretty much free for me. I was just given. I don't really have a need for it. But this is another locomotive shell kit. It's for an SW1500. I don't know, I might use it in the future. It is kind of cool. I could do something with it. But for now, it's just going to sit in a box out of my way. So I'll take a quick break, put some of this stuff away and get organized, and get the next little bit out. Alright, so this next thing up is a set of passenger cars. These were actually free and are kind of sort of related to the thing. I don't want to get into it too much, but they were a gift from someone who has given me a whole bunch of other free stuff before, and it was just given to me through the club. So I'll just go through that now because it's interesting and it's a part of it, and you'll quickly see a theme. This is a Napa Valley Wine Train coach. This one's another coach. This one's an observation car. This is a diner. And this is another observation car. So, this is 5 of the 7 cars of the set. I am missing, I believe, 2 diners, which I would like to get eventually, at the least. If not, even more cars. And I might also eventually be ending up with the engines. The club just has not found them yet, so whenever they do, they will most likely end up being mine. So I just wanted to get this bit out of the way. These aren't stuff I actually bought, but they're really cool, and I just wanted to share them in this video. So I'll also go put these away, and I'll move on to the next thing, which isn't really a train, but sort of fits. So this next thing isn't much rolling stock or locomotive or anything, but this is some stuff that was at the sale that I actually wanted for my layout. I am a little bit of a car person, and I wanted some nicer cars for my layout, and my club was selling a whole bunch of them. So I bought, I think, 12 or 13 of them, and I'll go over just some of them quickly. This one's an Atlas Ford Taurus. This one's really cool to me. It's a BMW Z8, which there aren't many of these in the world. There's just a standard E-Class wagon, I believe. Yeah, E-Class. a Lamborghini Miura, an 05 Mustang GT, a Ford Expedition. My grandparents actually used to have one just like this. Just a square body Chevy pickup. I don't know if it's a C5, C10, something like that. A little 90s Ford Escort. A Ferrari, I think it's either a 348 or a 355. A Porsche 928. A Ford GT. A Lamborghini Murcielago. And lastly, this is a vehicle I used to love when I was a kid for some reason. First generation Cadillac Escalade. So that's all the little cars I bought. I'll, again, get these out of the way, and I'll go back on to the regular model trains. So the next thing I bought is one of the only few things that actually ended up coming with a box, which I will pull it out. It is a Rivarossi Union Pacific, I believe this is just the end car. Don't know exactly what it is, but I do have 4 other Rivarossi Union Pacific cars, and I've wanted an actual end car. So this will actually help with that train quite a bit. And I'm just now noticing it has a diaphragm. This car also just has metal wheels, and it's got KDs and everything on it, and it was only $5. So I will get this out of the way. And the next up is the last little bit of rolling stock I bought, which is an entire train, which I will put up here quickly. They all look very similar, and yeah, again, it was only $10. This is the first car. These are all British Rail. They say Paddington, Newport, Cardiff, and Swansea on the top. And I don't know what that is, so if anyone knows, please let me know down below. Yeah, there's this. I don't also know what really any of these types of cars are. I just wanted a British passenger set for the thing I'll show you after this. So another one. Another one. Again, another one. And the last one. This one doesn't have any labels on it, so I will put all these aside. And now we go on to the 6 locomotives that I bought. So this first one is actually sort of following in the footsteps of that train. This is a Bachmann 462, which was just $10. So I will pull it out of the box. I was told this one actually does indeed run perfectly fine. There's only 2 issues with it, which you might be able to see. The front actual pilot wheel was missing, so I just stuck on a spare of similar size that I had laying around. I want to get the nice one in the future, but for now this works, and this was a $10 engine. The other issue is that this little corner of the shell is melted, so I might just clean it up a little bit and try and install a just new buffer and salvage that as much as possible. So this is a little bit hard to put back in the box, but again, I was told this engine does run. Once we go through these last few things, we will check if any of that's true. So I'll get this moved out of the way and I can show you the next few things. Alright, so now on to the 6 engines, or no, 5 that I bought. I got 6, including the last one. This is the first one. It is an Athearn SW7, and I know I just bought another one of these recently, but the one I bought wasn't going to work for a project I had in mind, so I bought this one, which is hopefully going to be a little bit better. But yeah, it was also $5. I don't know if it works or not. It's a blue box, so I wouldn't be surprised if it works. And again, following up on that, it's another blue box SW7. This one's in Santa Fe, which was, again, $5. Again, don't know if it'll run or not, but I felt it was worth the risk, and I wanted to just try and get some of these. If it isn't any good, it's a $5 engine. I could get rid of it without much loss on my end. There's not much to say about it. This next thing is a little bit interesting. This is a Roundhouse box cab, and it's got a few minor issues with it. This whole gearbox system is really weird. The shell doesn't like to stay on. It does pick up power. I actually tested this for the club to see if it worked, but the issue is there's a little connector piece right in here to get to this gear that this side was missing. So just to make it, I think, work, I took out the whole drive shaft after I bought it. I usually don't do much work on engines off camera, but I don't think this is going to be on video. And I just made it so it'll power this one truck, which should be more than enough. I've heard these are really torquey engines. And the little shaft thing here spins, so I might just need to dab it on with a little bit of super glue. So it shouldn't be that difficult to fix. I thought it was cool. Hopefully I can get both trucks working in the future, but for now it should be perfectly fine. And then next up is something quite interesting. This one I was told supposedly does not work. This is a Manua General. I actually almost bought one on just another online website a while ago, but decided against it. And this was much cheaper, which, like the other 3 engines there, was $5. So I don't know if it'll work or not. Drive shaft just popped out. But it does look pretty interesting. It's going to need a little bit of a wash off at the least, though. So it'll probably be a project for a video. This motor also looks like it might need an upgrade or something, so I don't know. It'll be an interesting engine for me to have. Surprisingly, this is the only HO scale 440 I've ever owned. I'll move that out of the way. And the last thing that I bought, and this is, I believe, the most expensive single piece of this entire lot, was a powered San Francisco cable car. I am sort of near-ish to San Francisco, won't say where, but I've seen these cable cars sometimes, and I've just wanted one for my collection. I'm not going to take it out of the box since you can obviously see it, but it's basically a new in-box cable car. And this thing cost me, I believe, $25. Again, before I got a discount and everything. But this is actually a powered model. There's a bunch of these out there that are unpowered, and I've specifically wanted a powered one. I'm glad to have finally found a nice one. So, with this out of the way, I will get my area all organized, and I will get my layout, or temporary layout down, and we'll test out the 6 engines. Alright, so I've got all 6 engines lined up, and I've lined them up from least likely to work to most likely to run. So, I will set the first one up on the track, and we will start testing these things out. First up will be the box cab, and I'm pretty sure I know how this is going to go. The gears and everything are going to spin, but it won't move just because of that one little part I mentioned. Just exactly how it's working. Well, it's moving a tiny bit, but in no way is that correct. So, yeah, that's what I expected. I know exactly what it needs, and it should not be all that hard of a fix, honestly. Next up is the Manua 440. This thing's been sitting for ages, it looks like, so I don't have high hopes that the thing will work. But who knows, so I'll try it out. Oh, it did something. Let's try forwards. Well, it's most certainly getting power. It might just need a good cleanup. Looks like it's slowly starting to power through a little bit. Try forward again. There. I won't run it too hard, but it seems like it sort of works, but needs a whole bunch of work. So, I'll take that out of the way, and I'll set the next engine up, which will be the first SW7. Alright, so the first SW7. And nothing. Sounds like it's just barely getting power. Try the other direction. And absolutely nothing. So it looks like we've got the first one that does nothing at all. So that'll be interesting to dive into and see if I can fix. So I'll take this off, and I'll get the other SW7 set up. Alright, so I've got this SW7 set up, so let's see if this one runs now. And I have a feeling, for some reason, that this one probably will. Just, I don't know, because of how it looks. So let's see. Well, yep, that definitely runs. It's a little bit noisy. Try giving it more power forwards. Yeah, that one seems like it runs perfectly fine. So, that one does indeed work. Might just need a tiny bit of oil, but in general, that seems really good. So, now let's move on to the next thing, and I'll take this off to the side. And I think these last two things are most definitely going to work. Alright, so we got the cable car set up on the track, so let's see if this works. I am 90% certain that it will. That's really good. It's actually really quiet. A lot quieter than I was expecting. That one I am quite happy with. So I will take the cable car off the track, and I will get the 462 set up. Alright, so I got the 462 set up on the track, so let's see how that runs. That's actually really good. I can hear just the tiniest bit of sound coming from the motor, so I might need to lubricate the bearings or something. But that runs great. It's a little bit more like, I don't know the right word, chuggy at lower speeds. You can maybe see or hear what I mean. But like, it does run pretty well. So, I'll take this thing off the track and I will close out the video. So I would like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.